Before Paul joins us, though, I got a 5-pack of stats for you guys
Let's
that
get it.
I think are pretty interesting this week. First and foremost, we mentioned the defensive prowess of the Browns a second ago, but we didn't talk about it with Zach. We're going to talk about it right here. According to any metric you want to look at, there has not been a better unit in football this year than the Browns' defensive line. They were ranked first overall in pass rush grade, first overall in run defensive grade, first overall in wins above replacement, first overall in total sacks from the defensive line, and first overall in run stops from a defensive line.
Well, they're not first overall in EPA.
From a defensive line standpoint?
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is not the Browns' defense. This is just the defensive
line.
line.
The Browns are third in EPA, which is still excellent.
They're still great. These are just the defensive line stats, the 4 guys in and out.
I didn't even know there was WAR for football.
I didn't know there was either.
Shout out to PFF. Yeah. It's a new stat that they started last year. It's basically
I thought that was only a baseball
stat.
I'd
never heard of that
in
football.
Never.
And I've never seen it broken down by position.
Yeah, that is weird.
So is that for the year or last week? That's for the year?
No, for the entire season. Wow. 2025 season, they have been the number one.
Their defensive line is really good. You know, I want to give, in a minute here, I want to give a big shout out to Mason Graham.
Yeah, he's been awesome.
Because we were negative about them drafting Mason Graham. It really had little to do with him. It was more about who they didn't take and the position he plays. Mm-hmm. And I have been quite snarky about Mason Graham, especially after the draft and early in the season. And this guy, all he has done is get better. That's what you want. We talk about this all the time, G. You want your rookies to get better. Mm-hmm. And we're so used to the Browns drafting players that just suck. And we've talked so much about Shedeur. We've talked so much about Swessinger. We've talked so much about Fannin. We've talked so much about Judkins. But we haven't really talked much about Mason Graham. We did a little this week. But this guy didn't pay attention to the idiots like us who didn't want him. And we're like, he doesn't look the part. Blah, blah, blah. You know what? All this guy does is get better each week. He makes plays. You know, you're not going to make a million splash plays generally as a defensive tackle. I certainly think it helps the 2 guys on either side of him are great players. One's maybe the greatest player ever, and they have helped school him up. But it's clear, and obviously you would know this well as a defensive lineman, that he is soaking up everything they have to teach.
Yeah,
he's done a really good job, you know, and is becoming a really good player.
He's doing something that any coach would tell you. Take advantage of your one-on-ones, right. And I think Jim Schwartz did a good job of identifying some of the pieces that go in his defense. If you look at what they've done, they had Shelby Harris. Yeah. Dalvin Tomlinson, some of those guys up front, and those are plotting guys, not really quick twitch guys that get upfield, traditional nose tackles. And they got Mason Graham, and it took him a little bit of time to adjust to the way Jim Schwartz wants to play. And a lot of times for defensive linemen, it takes a little bit of time for the game to slow down. And it helps a lot that Myles Garrett gets so much attention. And it helps the fact that Malik Collins is another defensive lineman that's a veteran. All he got to do is concentrate on winning his one-on-one and playing hard. Yeah. And I love the fact that he's been durable. Love the fact that he didn't listen to a lot of different things. I told you I was one of the most vocal. I say they better not take no defensive tackle.
Yeah, right.
They done lost your mind. And guess what? Coming to the first and second game, I'm like, okay, let me take a look at this dude. You start looking at the film, you're like, oh, okay, I like that. And to your point, he's just gotten better. And now it's to a point where you got to pay attention to him. Like, he's making plays.
Yeah.
And he's not depending, Jason, on Myles Garrett making plays. So it's one of those things where you got to give Andrew Berry a little bit of credit because that pick was going to be pivotal. If Travis Hunter was Travis Hunter, and Mason Graham didn't do anything this year or was pedestrian.
That had the potential to blow up.
That was out of here.
I love the trade because of what they got for it, even without the pick. I didn't love taking a defensive tackle there. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But since it's Ohio State-Michigan week and since Chip Kelly's in the news, I don't think I ever told this story. I was told Remember how Ohio State just ran into the middle against Michigan?
Right.
Like
yeah.
Mason Graham basically won that game for Michigan last year.
Yep.
I was told Mason Graham wanted to go to UCLA. Chip Kelly was the coach at UCLA. Chip didn't want him. So that was almost like an ego of Chip Kelly trying to run it right at Mason, and Mason won. Yeah.
What an idiot.
I mean, I'm just telling you what I was told.
Dang.
If that's true, I mean, he's an idiot.
There was a little bit in there of trying to prove of how good Mason Graham is. Ohio State ran right at him, and Mason Graham won that day. It did not work out.
And by the way, last thing, sorry, Mike, Malik Collins,
Been
is he the
incredible.
best free agent signing by Andrew Berry?
Yes.
And, I mean, Tyvis called it.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't know anything about Malik Collins. I knew very little when they signed him.
The Browns have, for the most part, been a zero in free agency with Andrew Berry. But Malik Collins,
Home run.
maybe the best free agent signing of the entire offseason of any team.
Devin Bush is playing the best football of his life.
He is.
He has never played like this, and he's a former first-round pick. He has never played at this level in Pittsburgh or Seattle anywhere.
That's true. But Malik Collins has a chance for double-digit sacks as a defensive
He's going to be a Pro Bowler.
That doesn't happen
Very
a lot.
rare.
Go ahead, Mike.
We got Paul Keels in the queue, so we got 4 more.
All right, we'll get back to it after.
No.
Oh.
We're going to get through we don't have to spend 6 minutes on each one or we'll never get through.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So we just talked about how good the Browns' defensive line is. We used PFF for a lot of those numbers, the pass rush run rate, the run stop rate, all those. So I pulled the PFF numbers for the 49ers offensive line, and despite the fact they've taken a decent bit of sacks, they've been really good lately. These are the ranks by position for the 49ers offensive line. Trent Williams and McKivitz, 2 of the top 6 offensive tackles in overall PFF grade this season. Connor Colby, their left guard, the weak link, 68 out of 81 on the offensive guard, but Dominic Puny, 24 out of 81, and their center, Jake Brendel, 11 out of 38. So strength on strength in this matchup.
This will be interesting because this will be Myles Garrett's toughest test of the year, no doubt.
And we're going to
Trent
preview that
Williams'
even more.
toughest
in
test.
the
And
TV
it will
show.
be Trent Williams' certainly toughest test of the year. Absolutely.
And we're going to preview that individual matchup in the TV show coming up at 12:30.
Yeah.
All right, stat number 3. How about Shedeur letting in a rip? He is the only quarterback in NFL history ever, to have multiple 50-yard passes in his first career start. Now, granted,
That's wild.
one of them was a screen pass that Dylan Sampson
That's
ran for
funny.
66 yards. But the fact is the fact. First quarterback ever with multiple 50-plus passes or 50-yard-plus passes in his career start. Against the Raiders, the Browns had 13.5 yards of yak per reception, obviously helped out by the Sampson screen. That's the second highest in a win in the NFL since 2015. And the 49ers, they've allowed 6 passing touchdowns of 20-plus yards or more this season. So
That first thing is going to go viral from the Shedeurians. That, no doubt.
Oh, listen.
You can take it, yeah.
They got a photographic memory.
Oh, yeah.
They remember every single throw from Colorado,
That's
all
right.
of them. And when McNuggets see this is the problem,
Yeah.
you perpetuating the cycle.
Yeah, you
They
are.
gonna remember that he's the only person in NFL.
Ever.
Tom Brady,
Ever.
Dan
No.
Marino,
No.
Steve Young,
No.
Joe
Man.
Montana.
No, go ahead.
never done it. All right, speaking of Sanders, since 2000, 43 quarterbacks drafted in rounds 5, 6, or 7 have started a game. I'm going to show you a chart, so you have to look at the screen here. It gives you a side-by-side. This is from Ben
2000 or
Solak.
2020?
Since
Since 2000. It's not 2020. That's supposed to say since 2000.
Okay.
So in 25 years, 43 quarterbacks drafted in rounds 5 or later have started a game. This is directly from ESPN. You can see it on the screen here. It's a little tough to see. The left half of the screen is the average of the 42 other quarterbacks not named Shedeur. On the right, that is Shedeur and what he did. So you can see the side-by-side comparison. I thought it was worth at least pulling up here. But Shedeur had 21 dropbacks. The average was close to 34. Yards per dropback, the average for the 42 quarterbacks, 5.19. Shedeur up at 9.81. The turnover to touchdown ratio, sub 1 for the 42 average. Shedeur had a 1. He had a lower sack rate. His completion rate was a little lower. His off-target rate was pretty significantly higher than the average of the 42. The average of the 42, 19.8. Shedeur was at 27.8. His drop-back success rate significantly lower. The 42 others combined to have an average drop-back success rate of 37.1. Shedeur was just 23.8. And then the overall EPA per drop-back for the previous 42 fifth-round or later quarterbacks to start a game
All
was
right, some
negative
good, some bad there.
0.1 in Shedeur, negative 3. So some good, some bad, but I thought it was a nice comparison to see quarterbacks drafted in the same range as Shedeur, how that first start against the Raiders compared to the other 42.
Now you know what Now you know if them stats get better, you know what they're gonna say. We told you he wasn't a real 5th-round pick. McNuggets is getting it, bro. He actually might be a CU uncle now. Is that true? Let me find
know.
out.
Let's see.
No, actually, be truthful. It's 6 quarters, and this game's going to tell us a lot more. 6
will.
quarters is 6 quarters.
No doubt about it,
man.
No doubt about it.
And then last one before we
Yeah.
bring in Paul Kearse to talk a little Ohio State Buckeyes is the rookie returns. You talk about that draft class. Gee, you alluded to this stat earlier in the week. I
Yeah.
didn't want to correct you because you had it wrong, but it was better than what you actually said. Against the Raiders, Browns rookies accounted for 100% of the team's passing yards, 114% of the team's rushing yards if you take out sack yards, 75% of the team's receiving yards, and according to the Elias Sports Bureau, that is only the second time ever since they started tracking these numbers in 1970 that a team has had 100% of passing yards, 100% of rushing yards, and 75% or more of receiving yards come from all rookies.
Yeah, that's not a great stat.
It's
That's not good.
It's not a. It's,
I didn't say it was good. I
Yeah.
just said it was a cool
I mean, the
stat.
first one's fine. It's it's a rookie starter, but
now, listen, if they start to have success, if the win-loss total from those rookies starts to
Yeah.
climb up, if you're not an Andrew Berry believer,
Yeah.
you start to be like, well, this draft class is kind of epic.
yeah, I mean it's complimentary of the current rookies, but it's a huge red flag for
Yeah.
the rest of what he's done
Yeah,
leading
you,
up to
you
this.
don't want to live and die in that
Yeah.
area.
All right, let's bring in Paul Keels.
Yeah, we'll bring in Paul Kearse. Just want everyone to remember, Shedeur, only quarterback ever, 250-plus yard touchdown passes in his first start. So remember that.
Make